Yo, in today's video I'm going to be going over should you make that switch to keyboard and mouse in Chapter 3 Season 2. Basically what I'm going to try to discuss is it worth switching from controller to keyboard and mouse this late into the game? And the main thing I'm going to say is it's never too late depending on your mindset when you make the switch, or if you want to make the switch, but just know if you are good at the game on controller and you're at a consistently high level, I would not personally make that switch. But if you're like, if you have zero earnings, you don't play claw, you don't use paddles, and you just feel like you're personally skill capped on the controller, then I would 110% make the switch. But you just need to keep in mind that it's a really difficult switch. It's going to be very stressful at times. It's going to make you want to quit and go back to controller, which is something you do not ever want to do. I cannot stress that enough. You never want to make that switch back to controller while you're on keyboard and mouse, as you're just going to mess up both inputs. So going to make it more and more difficult to try get good on one again, because when you switch over to the keyboard and mouse, your controller skill is going to go backwards. And then you're going to want to hop on controller. You're going to feel that bit of consistency that you already knew, and then you're going to get comfortable with that, and then within about a week you're going to be like, okay, I'm used to this again, this is boring, I can't improve, back to the keyboard. But just stick to the keyboard if that's what you want. I used to switch so many times. I finally just decided to stick to one, and personally I just think it's the best option overall. There is edit maps, drill maps, piece control maps out there. I've just made a video on some of them, the best ones that I have at the moment. So there are always videos you could look at and try them out. They will give you the best like routine and stuff. When you're switching to the keyboard and mouse, what you want to do is sit in creative, depending on what, if you want to be a comp player, sit in creative, do your cranking, do your piece control, your edits, your aim, and then do scrims depending on what it is you used to do on the controller. But for the first week or so, you kind of want to stick to keyboard and mouse in creative, as you're going to get the most practice. I don't recommend going straight into pubs, arena, creative with your friends. You kind of just, you want to separate yourself from all that. So if your friends are doing like the tilted zone wars and you know you're having fun and you're having a good time with your friends, I just wouldn't. I just out of it for a week, zone out, don't play those games that are fun. To do those maps that are very challenging and that will help you improve the most, because you're going to get more skill from doing those maps. Playing 1v1 maps is good, but only if you're playing players that are at your skill level at the time, which is nice. You know, you don't want to be getting trucked on by people all the time. So play with people that are at your skill level, but also venture out in players that are much better than you, because soon enough you're going to see your weaknesses, what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right. But even if you're doing stuff right and you're winning, always look for something that you've done wrong, because there's always going to be something that you've done wrong that you might not think you've done wrong. So the more you look at your negatives, your fails, the more you'll improve. Just if you're one of those players that gets frustrated, blames the game, then I'm sorry to say, but this video is not going to help you very much. But if you're one of those players that wants to learn, wants to improve, and you know you have the skill to do so, this video will help you out so much, because you need to have a right mindset. If you do not have a good mindset, I'm sorry to tell you, you're just not going to go anywhere, you know. You need to have that positive mindset. What you need to do is just, you need to embrace that the game is going to suck for the first week to 2 weeks is kind of the most difficult. Once you kind of get comfortable with your binds, yes, you're going to choke, you're going to die, but once you have an understanding of your binds, boom, that's the first step done. So yeah, that will literally be your first step done. Then you're going to hop into maps that are more challenging. You're going to get better. You're going to see so much improvement and motivation over time that you're just going to want to get on and play the game. But when you're like first switching to keyboard and mouse, stick to a routine. You wake up. The way I'm starting to look at it is like, when I get on, I start my aim trainer map, which I have in my latest video. Go check that out. I do my aim train first, then I do my piece control second, then I do my editing. It's kind of all in one, so I'll do all them. But what I'll do last is, because I enjoy to build and I find that the most satisfying thing in the game, I'll allow myself to do all my challenges first that I set, and then hop into creative and do my free builds, because that's my reward for doing all my routine, and that's helping me to be on a positive mindset, get better, and stay in that routine to improve, you know. Keyboard and mouse, when you get good at it, is a really fun thing. depending on what your skill level is on controller, like when you make that switch to keyboard and mouse and you start to see them initial improvements, you get this bizarre motivation to want to play the game. It just feels like such a different game, because there's certain things that you think you could do in controller that you could do them once or twice, and then boom, you mess up, you choke because you're very inconsistent. With keyboard and mouse, you start to build up that much easier, and that it just makes it much more of a fun game. It's going to take about a year to get to a really high level of, like, if you do box fights will be your, that'll be your niche. You do build fights, that'll be your niche. Whatever it is you do, the first 6 months you're going to see your improvements and what you enjoy to do. So for most people it's just free builds. So the more like 6 months of doing free building, boom, you're going to be really good at free building. If you do box fights, you're going to get good at box fights, and that's where you're going to excel. So within 6 months you'll see an improvement in one area. So whichever area it is you're fascinated about and you enjoy the most, then put all your time into that, but don't ignore the other fundamentals of this game. Do your aim training. Always start with your aim training, because as the day goes on you get so tired and you just don't want to do it. But with your aim training, 5 to 10 minutes, that sticks with you for the day. You'll improve that over time. So that's always the first thing you want to do, because you get out of the way, you don't forget about it, you don't lose interest, because at the end of the day it is very boring, and I'll admit that, but people will just tell you it's fine, you need it, which you do, but it is a boring concept to the game, but it's just something that you do need to do. So get that out, done with, and then you can get on to the fun things in the game. So if you did want to find this video helpful and very informative, please make sure to leave a like, leave a comment down below if there's any other videos you do want me to touch on. Also, if you could go to the item shop and stick in code DJSavage78, that would be greatly appreciated, as it helps me to make more videos like this. Also, leave a comment so I know if this video is helpful to you, because I'm just exploring with different videos. So if this video does go on to help, that would be great. With that being said, have a lovely day. Take care.